All Geeked Up is brought to you by the Inked Geek Studios t-shirt. Get yours today at tiny.cc/igswag. The following radio program you're about to listen to is provided to you, the listener, by Inked Geek Studios. Get this and other great shows at inkedgeekstudios.com.
Oh, I didn't know it was my turn.
It's yours this week.
Hey, welcome to All Geeked Up. When I say geek, you say up. Geeked.
Up.
Geek.
Up.
Well, it's been a good week. Here we are. Hey-oh.
We're going to get this back and forth thing going here.
Yeah, someday I'll remember who goes when. So anyway.
You've got the odd numbers.
I am Brandon.
I am Brandon.
That's right. I am. And with me, my co-host
I need this in
and,
front of me.
the leader of the band, Mr. Nate Ward. How are you?
Oh, I'm not too bad. At the end of another great weekend, the beginning of yours.
The beginning of mine. I'm so happy. Somebody hit my fucking milk truck today.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, another driver, I believe, in the yard. I didn't notice it until later, so that automatically makes it my fault because I moved the truck.
Right. Because that makes sense. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
That they, grinded against it.
Yeah, so what
Ground
happens
against
is
it?
all the trucks line up diagonally next to each other.
All right.
Well, that's a Class B truck. It's a higher, taller, longer truck. Next to me, though, is a Class C truck, a smaller, shorter truck. Well, it just so happens that the top of that truck lines up perfectly with that gash in my truck. But it doesn't matter because I moved the truck, so now it's my fault.
Right.
So I got hell for that when I got out of work today before I went to see The Dark Tower.
Ah, you went to see the Dark Tower.
I did, and my childhood has been raped. Now let me start off with a caveat saying that spoilers, at the end of the books, Roland ascends the tower,
All right.
and Stephen King gives you the option to end there
Okay.
or read further. So if you read further, it goes on to say that he opens the door at the top of the tower, ends up back in the desert where the first book begins.
All
So
right.
it's just him repeating the quest over and over and over again until he, quote unquote, gets it right. Mm-hmm. So that is where the movie has liberty to do basically whatever they want because it's a different iteration of the same story.
I see.
That's why you have Black Roland and all the things that are different. But they've taken a super short movie in this day and age, 90 minutes, and basically taken pieces from all 7 books and made this amalgam, this thing. And some of the things that are fundamental to the characters are gone. Doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Okay.
And if you haven't read the books and you don't know the lore, they expect that you're going to know that. So they just
Right.
throw stuff out there and reference things that you would have no idea about unless you'd read the books.
So very similar to the way that they did the Warcraft movie.
Very much so.
Okay.
But where
Now-
the Warcraft movie, in your opinion, that was pretty faithful?
Well, yeah. Oh, well, to a point.
To a point.
Now, it's funny.
I mean, there's... go ahead.
I was just going to say, I actually got to speak with Russell Brower about that at Nerdtacular.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But continue with Dark Tower, and we'll tangent.
So anyway, it's great, if you know the lore, but then at the same time, if you're that big of a fan and they make that many changes, you're just pissing off the fan base. Now, I saw it with a guy that I had read those books, and he liked it more than I did.
Okay.
Now, going in cold, and I talked to Gregor a little bit from Else Nerds, and he and I are going to have a debate on that, on Else Nerds later
Cool.
on in the week. But
Very cool. Oh,
yeah,
shit. It's August, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm going to be
right?
on Else Nerds in like a week and a half.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on Monday.
Nice. Yeah. Amy and I are on to talk about the new indie game show.
Beautiful. Very cool.
Yep.
So, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
But anyway, it doesn't matter.
You're going to debate with Gregor.
Yeah. I mean, the guy I saw it with, he liked it more than I did. But that's, you go in with a grain of salt, knowing that it's a different version of the same story.
Right.
That being said, I didn't really like the people in the roles.
Okay.
I did not really like McConaughey as the Man in Black. I have a certain image of that character in my head. And I would have preferred someone like Cumberbatch Fingerdink, Anybody else. Somebody like that.
Cumber Pickle.
Cumber, Dick, Finger Pickle.
Bendy Pickle Cumberbum.
Bendy Pickle. Yes.
Bendy Pickle
I'm just
Cumberbum.
going to leave it at Bendy Pickle.
Bendy Pickle.
Yeah, so basically, I don't know. If you want to hear me rant about Dark Tower, you can watch Else Nerds on Monday night.
Yes, we know his name is Benedict. Thank you, Wolf.
Yeah. Benediction.
Benedict.
Mike
So
Pickle.
that was kind of where my next question was going to go was, so you didn't like the movie, but that's where I was going was, how did you feel about the individual characters by the actors? And I guess that answered that. You did not like them at all.
No. It's not really their fault. It's what they were given to work with, I think.
Right.
There are a lot of things like... So for me in my teenage years, the Dark Tower was it. That was my fandom.
Right.
I mean, I lived my life by that Tower set of books, the Tower books. And just, I don't know. There's a scene in the movie where... You're not going to know what I'm talking about unless you've read it, but Roland gives Jake one of the guns and then says the gunslinger creed.
Okay.
And all of a sudden he's like a little gunslinger.
Right.
No. The last thing Roland would do would be to give up his guns unless he was literally forced to, which he is in the book.
Okay.
So it's crazy to me that they've devalued that like that. I get it. It's a different story of the same shit, but no, it's wrong. So wrong.
So that being said, in the ilk of Stephen King, we not only had Dark Tower come out, but we also had the release of the newest It trailer. Did you get a chance to see that?
No.
Okay. Now, I have never read the book. I'm sure at one point in time in my childhood, I saw the original movie. All I remember is that Tim Curry was the clown.
Yeah, and that's basically where I'm at, too. The original movie did not ring my bell.
Right. Have you seen any of the footage for the new one?
The first trailer.
All right. How do you like the look of the clown?
I'm into it. And
Yeah.
he's a Skarsgård, and anything that the Skarsgård family is involved in, I'm into.
Cool. So it looks pretty good. Now, in the book, I assume you've read the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But, I mean, this was,
Right.
long ago.
So in the book, correct me if I'm wrong.
Don't count on me
Well, no,
to know.
it's very general. You get two perspectives. You get the kids as kids, and then you get the kids as adults,
Right.
where Pennywise comes back.
Right.
Based off of the trailer, the newest trailer of the movie, it looks as though they are focusing purely just on the kids, perhaps trying to ride the Stranger Things
Well,
wagon.
some of the kids from Stranger Things are actually in that movie.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I've seen Stranger Things.
That
but
made it that
I
much
totally
cooler
missed that.
for
All
me.
right, so that's cool.
Finn, what the hell is his name? Finn something very Viking. He's in it, and I'm all for that. It looks like Stranger Things. I mean,
Right.
I'm down for that, and I would prefer that they do the kids
Right. Well,
rather than flip back and forth. If they wanted to do anything like they do in the original movie, I guess, open with the adults, but then flashback to the kids and just stay there. Don't time jump
Right.
anymore. And a big problem I had with that movie was John Boy was in it from the Waltons.
okay.
I don't care for him. He's got that mole. Freaks me out.
Moly, moly, moly.
Ole.
So the rumor that I read was that if this movie is successful, that they will do a sequel that is now them as adults.
That
Which
would work for me.
could be
Now,
interesting.
I will say that
It would depend on who they cast, to be honest.
that's true. Castle Rock is coming up on Hulu.
Right.
It's going to be an ongoing show where all of these mythos from Stephen King exist in this town.
Now,
if you
is
go
that not similar to Dark Tower? Because isn't that what Dark Tower
Well, Dark
does?
Tower is overarching for everything, right? But Castle Rock is a town that a lot of things happen in, like Cujo, Firestarter, I believe.
Right.
A lot of stuff happens. It's a made-up main town.
Right.
So basically, that show is going to be adventures in that town, I guess. But if you go to the IMDb, I can't talk. The IMDb page.
The IMDb.
I need some TP for my bunghole. If you go to the IMDb
like Fraggle
page,
Rock.
you'll see that Bill Skarsgård is there.
Okay.
So he'll be reprising the role of It in the show, which should
I
be
see.
awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, I think so. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
So you, sir, have been doing some building,
I have.
some intense building,
Yeah.
and some intense spending of money.
Well, we don't have to
I
disclose
mean,
that.
that never, well, I mean, if you know us, if you listen to our shows, you'll know that that never stops.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. It's one, basically, like, there's an allotted amount of, let's spend this on geeky stuff. I've been getting Warhammer, and I've been getting into that. My new video game my new video games or video game intake has suffered because of it, but that's okay. So yeah, and
But
I think we talked about
Your
this.
video game intake has suffered from it, but at the same time, do you not get a certain level of zen from building?
I do. Yeah, and I'll definitely get into that. No, there's a. It's really funny because anybody that's known me long enough, you included, like to hear me say, that's hilarious. Almost by the Louis C.K. definition of hilarious, it's so funny to the point where that's almost driving me insane.
Yes, that's true.
Also, who the fuck? Okay, we can talk about it off air. I don't want to get you in trouble. Although that might have just never
Yeah,
mind.
you just did it. Thanks a lot. Anyway, moving on. So what I want to know is when you play video games, does that become like a hypnotic thing for you where in a way you're kind of zoned out, or are you intensely focused on it the whole time?
Well, okay, so it's interesting. So with video games, the realm of single player games have had a hard time keeping my attention.
Right.
We talked about it.
We've talked about it a lot.
Yeah, no, we have. So I'm sorry, I went blank for a second. I'm trying to think of the last single player game that I completed front to back. On stream, the last one was Tomb Raider, the PC release.
Yeah.
Not Rise of the Tomb Raider, but the
Right.
first one that Square Enix remastered, a handful of years ago now. And I completed that full on stream, and that was a lot of fun. As far as that, I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5, a few years back, I finished the story. Sunset Overdrive, which we talked about last week, I finished the story on that. When it comes to single player games, I find myself falling out of them very quickly. I very quickly fall back to Overwatch, to Heroes of the Storm, to Rocket League, PUBG, like the multiplayer battle, or Diablo. With Diablo, it's not the storyline, but it's the constant grind, and you're doing it with friends. So when it comes to kind of losing myself within a realm of a world with video games, again, I find myself always itching for that. Like I almost want the anxiety. I want the level of competition. I want that to exist within my game, unless it's fully captivating. Like I picked up Witcher 3 during the Steam sale for next to nothing for the Game of the Year edition. And I launched it, I got the ultra wide setting set up, and I've yet to even play it.
I did the same thing, and that's as far as I got. I never touched it again.
I have Horizon Zero Dawn on PS4, which
I was trying to remember the name of that. I wondered how far you had gotten into that.
Probably about 10 hours or so. Now I'm going to go back and play it at some point because the new DLC looks great, and I really want to play it, and I very much enjoyed it. But I'm at the point now, and this happens a lot with single player games too, just to kind of tangent from the question a little bit. I'll get back to Warhammer. So I assume you've seen that meme of Gandalf when it says like when you load into a save game after so many months and you're like, I have no idea where I am. Mm-hmm. So that happened to me with Horizon. It happened to me with Breath of the Wild, which I've restarted like 2 or 3 different times. Just because I end up separating myself away from it for a while, and then I just get held up. I don't like committing to just one game. It's the reason I have like a friend of mine who I play Diablo with quite a bit, Fuzzy, or Steve. He's really big into Ark, and there's another new game called Dark and Light or Light and Dark or something like that, which is very Ark, but instead of it being dinosaurs, it's wizards and dragons and things of that nature.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it looks pretty interesting, but again, it's a survival game. It's an open world game.
Is it first person?
I don't know. I haven't really looked at it.
If it's
to
third
be honest.
person, I'm into it.
But the thing is like with Ark, if you don't log into it every day, your dinosaurs get hungry and die. People can raid your encampments. Like there are penalties to not logging in every day.
See, I don't think I like that because I don't have the time.
I mean, that's what kept me away from WoW. That's why I've stopped raiding in WoW, because I just don't like I don't like feeling forced to.
No, you don't want to
log in
You don't want to
every
be
day.
forced to do dailies.
Right.
What was the name of that game? Do you know?
It was like Dark and Light or Light and Dark. It's on Steam.
I'm sure I've looked at this before.
So, which is interesting because, you put me in a game like Heroes, right? So I'll sit with Heroes, especially like if I'm running with Hugo and Clown Baby in the chat plays with us sometimes too. Like if I'm running Heroes with them, like we'll sit and we'll play Heroes for 2 or 3 hours, right? But the reason I play Heroes and not League of Legends is because League of Legends, the average game is 45 minutes to an hour, and I don't want to be locked in for that long.
Right.
But with Heroes, the average game length is about 15 to 20 minutes. but I'll easily play 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
It's that mentality of feeling like once that game launches, I'm locked in for that long.
Yeah,
and I don't particularly
nobody
like
likes
that.
it. It's like when I used to play Bad Company 2, the multiplayer. Some of those games would last forever.
Right. Well, see, and that's where my preference towards Call of Duty has always been over Battlefield. I have no denial that Battlefield is a better game. Granted, both of their developers suck, whether it's EA or Activision.
Right.
But I don't deny that Battlefield is more realistic. Battlefield typically looks prettier. Blah blah blah. Whatever. So, Clown Baby, I'm pretty sure you've played Heroes with us. I swear you have. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. So I don't deny that Battlefield is a better game, and I think if you claim that Call of Duty is better than Battlefield, you're smoking something. But there is an element to you launch in really quick. Your matches are 5 to 10 minutes long. You are, you're in and out. It's fast. They're fast games. So there's less of a commitment value. You can log on and do a team deathmatch in Call of Duty in 10 minutes. You can't do that in Battlefield.
No, but
it's not
in
gonna
this
happen.
age of instant gratification, you want a snappy game.
Right.
You might play it just as long as Battlefield, but you'll cover a whole plethora of matches versus just having one long fucking match.
Exactly, and you have increments where you can put it down. But anyway, back to the original point. We've also kind of been ignoring the chat. So yeah, last game you finished was Resident Evil 7. I'm looking forward to that. I have it. I've had it since launch. I have the DLC. I've been looking for the time. At this point, now that we are in August, the VR version for Resident Evil 7 unlocks for HTC Vive in January. So at this point, I might just wait and play it in VR, especially now that I have glasses, so I don't see double in VR anymore. But I really want to play that. Wolf, Stellaris. I played Stellaris. I really enjoyed it, and then Civ 6 came out, and I never touched it. Hearts of Iron sounds like something that I wouldn't personally be into. The old military-styled games, I just don't really get into.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, I bought Battlefield 1 because you guys
Right.
had it and played it once.
Well, modern military I like.
Well, so do I. But when you say modern, you don't mean World War I, right?
No. But anyway, so back to your point with Warhammer. So yeah, so what I was getting at in the longest fucking way possible was that something that somebody who's known me for a while like yourself would think you'd never hear me say is there's a quality to unplugging. When you remove, like when I'm building, I'm not fully unplugged because I build on stream. If you want to watch me build, it's twitch.tv/xcynicx.
I don't think you can really unplug in this room.
Hugo can throw that in chat for me if he wants. I appreciate it.
You can unplug to a point, but you're basically in the Matrix.
Well, right. Yeah. I mean, that's what it comes down to. But like if I'm not streaming, like I don't even sit here. I sit over there. And I have no monitors in front of my face. I might have the AirPods in and I'll be listening to a podcast or music.
Right.
But it allows me to just kind of unplug and I don't have a time constraint. I don't have a goal. I don't think I don't think that stuff's enabled on this bot. It's a different bot than my streamer channel. I appreciate that though. But yeah, so it's I mean, there's a level of like you said, Zen. There's just a level of relaxation to it. You get in there and like it's so meticulous. So anybody who knew me, if I didn't say, hey, yeah, I enjoy building and painting Warhammer. If you knew me and didn't know that I enjoyed that, and I told you I did, or you would never guess that I would, because it's so meticulous. There's so many little details. There's so many possible things that you have to line right up. Like the couple things that I was building before we started this podcast tonight, I was putting together some Chaos Bikers, and like the bikes come in half, and you have to glue them together. They're fastened by the wheels, and then you have to kind of squeeze the seams together and run the super glue down the seams to hold it. Like it's again very meticulous. But there is a relaxation. Somebody like me who can always be high strung and have a lot of anxiety.
I mean, look at him right now. If you're watching the stream, he can't sit still.
Yeah, exactly.
You should see him when he's standing up.
Right. So
it looks like he has to shit all the time.
But you put the plastic in front of me with my super glue and the X-Acto knife and stuff, and there's just something where I am relaxed. Like I don't even fidget with my feet.
No, he doesn't
or anything.
either. It's amazing.
It just relaxes me completely.
He's glued to the floor.
Yeah. And no, I thoroughly enjoy it. Now, it's again unplugged. There's nothing. Again, there's no like that thing that I thrive for in video games. Obviously, does not exist in building Warhammer, the competition, the PvP, things like that. Now that's going to come later on when I start doing battles with it. But for now, again, just I know nothing about how to play. I know that you roll dice, and I know that when it comes to lighting, like, so I'm doing Chaos Marines, and when it comes to them, like, you have your Chaos Codex, and every unit type has a point value, and then the whatever weapons or bonuses you equip them with assign additional points to that value, and then you total out your army. I know that playing involves rolling dice. You move your guys based off measurement, like things can move 12 inches or 48 inches or things like that. So like I know general basics, but like if you gave me a fully painted military, I would have no idea what to do with it on the board. So for now, it's just the building and just the painting, which I thoroughly enjoy. We've got some mutual friends that are expertly skilled at doing both, that have been a great help in, helping me along and either showing me the right videos or helping me themselves one-on-one. And no, I thoroughly enjoy it. It's pricey. It definitely is not cheap. If you don't want an expensive habit, don't do it. But the beauty of Warhammer is, unlike with video games where you got to buy the new Madden every year, or you got to buy the new WWE 2K every year, which we got to talk about at some point on this episode, because I don't know if you've seen the screenshots yet, but holy shit.
I haven't.
With Warhammer, it's a big investment up front. You got to buy your military, which, depending on what you're playing and what you're buying, I don't know. It's like probably between like 150 and 300 or 400, and then give or take here and there.
Yeah, you're gonna spend some money on that,
and then
the paint,
your paint. And again, that's all. So with the models, like, it's Citadel. Like, if you're playing Warhammer, you're buying Games Workshop Citadel models. But with paint and tools, like, there's varying degrees. Like, you can buy Citadel paint, you can buy third-party paint, which is a little bit cheaper. You can buy Citadel tools, which don't. You can buy third-party. They're all basic modeling hobby tools. So it's there, and the options are there to save a little bit of money. But the thing is once you have your army built and once you have your army painted, like, you have to buy. Yeah, when you travel to the event, there's what's called battle foam, which allows you to safely travel with your armies.
Which also is not free.
No, but it's not too bad. But again, it's another thing where it's a one-time purchase. It's not like it's the new game you're buying every year. It's not. Like, you don't have to upgrade your video cards or your power supplies or your RAM or your hard drives or your keyboards and mice. Like, once you buy it, you have it, and that's that. You have to buy the new codex when they come out with a new codex, because you need your new abilities and your new point values and things like that. But like, the new Chaos Codex comes out on the 14th, and it's $50. If I had already had an army built and painted, literally all I would need is that. Now, I might want to remove or change a couple things, but beyond that, there isn't a lot extra to buy once you've purchased. Now, it's like any other hobby. You're going to want to buy more. You're going to want to buy new paint. You're going to have one army that has one paint scheme, and you're going to want to build a new army that has a new paint scheme, especially once you've got better at painting.
Of course.
So, but the need to purchase the excess is not necessarily there, like it is with the virtual or a digital entertainment.
But to go back to what you were saying about not really knowing anything about playing and just being at the building phase.
Right.
So for me, that would be where I would be too if I had gotten into that. And I think that would be fine. Coming from a place of Lego, I've spent a lot of time zenned out just building Lego, and I collect the minifigures, right? So this isn't that much different. A little bit more work intensive.
Right.
A little more money to a point.
Yeah, but even then,
it equals out,
Yeah, there are easily Lego sets that are $100, $200, $300.
Right.
So, you're getting more plastic.
And Lego only goes up in value.
Right. Yeah, but that's the thing, though. If you become a skilled painter, if you're good at assembling and good at painting, like, you can buy the armies, assemble them and paint them, and then sell painted armies. Or if you get to the point where you are, like, there are plenty of people who are very skilled at painting and assembling, who will commission, like, you don't even buy the armies. Like, somebody will buy an army, and like Amy is doing that right now, where somebody bought one of the sets and commissioned for her to build and paint said set.
Right.
So, and that's a way to make money. And some people get paid, like, I think someone was saying that, like, it's like $7 a model.
Wow.
So, yeah. So again, if you think about the fact that you're not buying the models, so like that box set that I have back there that has 10 Marines, a Hellbrute, and a Chaos Lord and Terminator armor, it's, that's an $85 box. Now you've got your 10 Marines. Now the $7 per model, I don't know where that varies with larger models. The Chaos Lord and the Armor and the Hellbrute are both larger models.
Right.
But even if you were to go up like to say $10, you've got 10 Marines at $7, that's 70. And then you've got two other, let's say at 10, maybe even more, it might even be 14. But that's $90 right there. So the person paying it,
I would hope at least a $2 up in increment
Right.
for every model. And then if you get to a Titan, I mean, fuck.
Well, I mean that's
$50,
a completely
$100.
that's a completely different world.
Because I mean that's
But even then, you've
in
got
terms
like
of real estate for painting, that's
Right.
that's basically
Like
an army
you've-
in and of itself.
But I wonder where that balance is. Where I wonder how much. I bet so much of the Titan can be airbrushed because it's
Maybe.
larger.
But I mean that would be a base, and then you'd have to go into the intricacies of painting all of the shit and putting decals
Right.
on. If you are a Warhammer painter for money, please join us and tell us what your prices are.
Right. Yeah, because that would be a cool conversation. I bet we could probably talk to even maybe JF or Amy or Tony.
Yeah.
Tony Sandoval does paint on that too. So, I mean, there's a whole Tadpool paint group, which is pretty cool, or Tadpool Minis group. It's not all Warhammer, but what do we got here? You said Fire Pro Wrestling. Yeah, I saw that. It looks pretty cool. How much is that? Like $20?
$20.
Yeah. So
I'll
that
pick
looks
it. Steve got it, so
it
I'll
looks
pick it up
pretty
at
cool.
some point. He wants to play.
nice.
I had meant to pick it up earlier, but I'm gonna wait a little while and see what happens with it.
Right. So speaking of Fire Pro
Wrestling.
Wrestling, 2K released the first screenshots of 2K18. I don't know if they released more. I saw two. There's a screenshot of Seth Rollins without a shirt on and a screenshot of Seth Rollins that says Seth freaking Rollins, which is a great shirt. But yeah, so I am going to...
Pull it up.
Yeah, I'm
And
going to pull
show
it up
us.
here on the screen. I don't know. Yeah. So,
Wow.
all right. Just give me the screenshot. Yeah. So you see there,
Pretty good.
and let me grab this display here. I want you. Okay. Apparently, it doesn't seem to want to work,
No.
but whatever, because that's just how life is.
Just imagine
So
Seth
yeah,
Rollins
if you
with no
if you
shirt on in
Google
real
it, yeah.
life.
So, but
It's
you
about
can
the same.
see the detail there. It looks absolutely amazing. I'm really excited for it. Now, I was playing 2K17 on PS4 as well as PC,
Yep.
and it's cool on PC because it supports the ultra wide. You get a big view of it, but because it's simply a console port, there's very minimal tweaking of the settings. So
Yeah, I hear the port is bad.
yeah, it's not that the port is bad; it's that the optimization is bad. Which if you have a beast rig, it's not a problem unless you're also trying to stream it, because then it just becomes an issue. The CPU gets overworked, the graphics processor gets overworked. It lags out. Like a game that's made for PC, your Battlefield, your Blizzard games, things like that.
Right.
Overwatch, run them on ultra, stream them in ultra wide, does
problem.
just fine. You get a wrestling game and like it lags out to like 8 frames a second. It's horrible. So I will be getting that on PS4. And on PC, when it comes to a game like that where I'd use a controller, I have my Xbox One controller. I prefer the wrestling games on the PlayStation controller.
I used to, but it's been so long since I've owned a wrestling game. I have both systems, so we'll see. I mean, obviously, if my friends all have it on PS4, which they all will, I'll have to get it on that if I get it.
Right. Did you give me back that juice bottle? No, it's back
No,
there.
it's over there. I'll get it.
Cool, thank you. But yeah, so no, it looks great. 2K gets a lot of flack for their wrestling games. Some people like them, some people don't. Primarily, I think they're pretty well liked.
Yeah, I mean, what did we have before that? Ukes?
Yeah, it was. Was
there another studio involved?
I think Ukes still. I think what it was, because it was THQ.
Yes.
And THQ went under, and it basically got sectioned out to different companies that bought different parts. The 2K games, I believe, are still Ukes. Now Ukes is just owned by 2K.
I see.
Yeah, I believe last time I booted it up, I do believe the Ukes logo is still there.
I see. Well, there. I mean, it's been so long since I've played.
But it's cool because, I mean, you know, obviously we played wrestling games quite a bit, but if you are somebody who's played a wrestling game and you haven't played the 2K games, which I'm sure most people probably have at least tried them once, all the things that we spent 20, 30, 40 minutes, an hour, a couple hours, like all the really cool moves that we spent trying to copy, like in WWE No Mercy or
Right.
WWF No Mercy, like power bombing someone through a table or setting somebody up on the announce table and jumping up, like everything like that. Like those are all situational moments now.
Yeah, they're all basically flash events.
Yeah,
are they
you
not?
throw somebody up on the table, you use a finisher icon for an oh my god moment, and it displays it in beautiful cinematic beauty.
So it used to be that the creative character was my jam, as with
Right.
everybody. You know, you make yourself in the game. Do they? How much depth is there in terms of movesets? You remember when you could create a move? It didn't always work well. You could take pieces of moves
And it would always
put
be
them all
choppy.
together. Yeah.
I do believe they got rid of create a move. I think it was 2K16 they had create a finisher. Mm-hmm. Same problem.
I don't have the patience to go through and
yeah.
design every
So
move.
the big thing now, and this is where the gripe is with the console version of the game, a lot of people are hoping they fix it in 2K18. I doubt they will. It's probably a licensing thing. Is a big thing now is creating the entrances, because the entrances are so fine-tunable with all the lighting and all the pyro and all the moves and everything else like that. The problem is up to this point, the 2K games have not let you use custom music, which is fine if you're a streamer or if you are somebody who makes YouTube videos, because, you know, you can just have no entrance music, record your video, overlay the music, do some audio editing to make it so the crowd sounds like it's in with the music and it's not just overlaid. And then you have your entrance video. That's great for a recorded video. If you're just playing with your friends and, like, if I wanted to come out to, like, Hail to the King or whatever, you can't really do it. And it's always a little bit different because they always have a soundtrack. The soundtrack is always 50-50. It's a little bit of country, a little bit of rock, a little bit of hip-hop. Obviously, when I load it, that's one of the first things I do is go turn off the hip-hop.
Yeah.
But the licensed music that's in the menus cannot be used in the game. Like, so 2K16 had Shepherd of Fire on the soundtrack. Couldn't use Shepherd of Fire in the game.
No, of course.
Or as entrance music,
Yeah.
which I was not a fan of. But
Wasn't there a point where you could add your soundtrack to the console and then use it in game?
Yeah, so Xbox 360 had a setup where you could burn a disc or rip a disc onto the hard drive.
I remember that.
And then you could go into your Xbox user menu and then play back the MP3.
But that was way back when the display was blades, right? Do you remember blades?
Yeah, that was the Blade. Yeah, because they released the Blade. That was shortly. That was like because they had like the really horrible 360 interface when it first launched, and then they released the Blades afterwards, right?
Yeah,
Is that how that worked?
I believe so.
If I recall.
I didn't pick it. I didn't get a 360 until a couple years after it came out. So when
Right.
I got it, it had blades.
Right.
So I assume that was not the first iteration of the interface.
No, I don't think so. I'd have to look it up. I might be wrong. I think I don't remember. I remember like the original Xbox was the worst of the worst for interface, but we were just beginning to interface consoles at that point.
Right.
And then I mean, do you remember the day of like the console is off and you put the disc in or put the cartridge in and then you turn it on and just the game boots up? Mm-hmm. Like that's weird now.
I know it. It's weird to think.
Like-
it is weird to think about. That's strange.
Even like your Game Boys, like you turn them on and there's an interface.
Right.
There's an OS that you navigate.
I can remember being stunned by just the regular PlayStation, turning it on, putting a CD in to listen to music,
Right.
and you have your icon there. Also, demo discs. I miss demo discs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
memory
don't think I
cards. I
ever-
don't really miss any of that stuff. But back
Yeah.
in the day, man.
I was never one. I mean, and again, I'm one to waste money, so maybe I'm not a good base point. But like, even with betas, like the Destiny 2 beta recently happened on consoles. It's coming on PC at the end of August.
Yeah.
And like, I'll hop in. I'll be like, all right, this looks cool. I'm just gonna wait and play it when it comes out.
Yeah, I'll skip it.
You know,
The last beta I was really super involved in was Gears 3.
Yeah.
But that's Gears, you know?
Yeah, it's
and
kind
they
of
give
your
you the
thing.
unlockable stuff, which I'm sure everybody does, but I don't care enough outside of Gears of War.
Right. Yeah, it's I mean, and that's it. I mean, Blizzard betas I'll hop in, but like even like with the Warcraft beta or World of Warcraft beta, like I'll hop in and I'll be like, yeah, I want beta access, but I don't play it because I mean, not that I've played Legion for a while, but when it comes to Legion, like I have all the classes at 100 waiting to be leveled to 110.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm already going to have to play through this 12 times.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I want to play through it another time? Especially something that doesn't count. But I'll get in if I get invited and get my access. That way I get like the feat of strength.
Right.
Sometimes you'll get a pet or something like that. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's people like it. People like the demos and things like that. But for me, it was just one of those things where it's like, I just give me the game. I like, and people don't like. It was 50-50, but the way that EA does it with their EA access, you get either Origin access or EA access on the console or PC. It's like $5 a month. You get 10% off all the major titles, and you get usually it's like 3 days to a week early access to the game. You get 10 hours to play it. You get it with Madden. You get it with things like that, which is cool. But the big thing, the first major adventure game, if you can call it that, a role-playing game that they did it with was Mass Effect Andromeda. And you could go in and you could legit play 10 hours of the full game, depending on... I mean, I think you were blocked to a certain point, but
10 hours,
you had to blow through it.
Right.
Well, no, like there was an advanced
cutoff
point. Yeah, but you had to really be trying to get there to get to it. But yeah, and it wasn't just a demo. It gave you a full access to a very large portion of the beginning of the game, and I like that element. And with EA access, whether it's EA access or Origin access on PC or Xbox One, if you're buying games, it's you save it quite a bit because you get 10% off major games. It's $5 a month, so like.
I pay for it. And I haven't touched any of that for months, so they're getting free money out of me. I don't use it at all.
Yeah, so at the very least, like I always get the collector's edition of Madden. I'm definitely gonna get it this year, where it's the GOAT edition, which is usually about $100. So I get 10% off that. I get $10 off that. That's 2 months free of EA access. So if you buy enough EA games, it kind of pays for itself. But and again, it's not contracted. There's no commitment. So like. You can sign up for access for a month, pay the $5. Even if you just buy the base level of Madden or Mass Effect or whatever EA game you're interested in, you pay for your $5 for EA access. You get your 10 hours of early access to the game. You buy the game for 10% off, saves you $6. You just saved $1.
Nice to save $1.
Yeah,
you
can give it to us by going to patreon.com/IG Studios.
Where's Annalise? Give him $1.
Give him $1.
Give them motherfuckers
Sandman
$1.
says nice shirt. I assume he means to you.
He might mean to you.
Is he an Avenged fan?
I don't know. Oh, there it is. Give him $1, Hugo.
Thank you, Hugo.
Sandman, if you're the Sandman, I think you are. When I said to your wife that you're so close, I meant to A, my job, and B, my house. Just a quick aside.
And C to orgasm? Whoop. You're so close.
Do you make orgasm noises?
I don't know.
I'm a silent lover.
I don't really listen to myself.
I don't make much noise.
That's good enough.
I mean, it's pretty obvious. I'm kind of a quiet guy,
Kinda. I don't know. So you're the leader of the Gungans?
Yes. We go to war.
Well, I mean, sometimes it might feel that way.
Sometimes.
I'm going to get you in trouble again.
We're invading. Invading the foreign territories.
Invasion of the body snatchers.
It's a Cold War, I think. So anyway, I really have to pee.
Invading Russia in the winter. Oh, it is the wife.
Oh. Touche. Yeah, if you're downtown, I mean, you're right down the street from the dairy, and then I don't live very far from there. That's all. That's all I was saying.
That's all.
You would ask.
Now you're going to get yourself in trouble.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, That's about all I got.
Yeah, we covered it.
We did.
I think it was a pretty productive episode. There's a lot of quality in a small area there. I mean, it's still 47 minutes. It's
That's a good way to describe me. At least certain parts of me. A lot of quality in a small area.
That's right. Got like a little stack of dimes there. Compact but useful.
It's compactful.
Yes, I have a concussion.
Oh, do you?
It's very dense.
You
wouldn't think
you
so.
have a
but
concussion?
There's a lot of weight there, a lot of gravity. I got whacked in the head with the head.
On that note,
Join us next week.
this has been episode 3 of All Geeked Up. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We appreciate everyone that tuned into the show live at twitch.tv/InkedGeekStudios. If you are listening to the podcast version of this and want to catch it live, you can catch it live every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time at the address I just gave you.
Sooner or later, we will have a recorded outro.
I was going to do this today, but I was building Warhammer.
Yeah, that's fine.
So yeah, again, a big
should be the two of us
shout out
anyway.
and thank you to everyone that tuned in live. You guys rock. Everyone that participated in the chat room. If you want to support All Geeked Up and Inked Geek Studios, please consider going to patreon.com/IG Studios, where as little as $1 a month helps support this show and the other shows that we do. The shows are doubling pretty soon. So we've got Indie Case Files starting up within the next probably 3 to 4 weeks, featuring myself and Amy Frost. If you want to hear more about that show, catch us some Wednesday in August. I'm sorry, that's not too helpful. Let me look at a calendar here. I believe it is the 16th. So Wednesday, August 16th, over on Galactic Network of Podcasts for Else Nerds. We will be on there with Gregor Sprague and Sean Burns, talking about the new show. Also, myself and Brandon will be starting up our new show, Movie Busters, where we will watch, review, and break down all of your favorite and least favorite movies.
Now, are we going to do new movies, old movies, all movies?
Everything.
Okay, good. What do you think our first movie should be?
You know what's funny is I saw one and I thought about that and then I lost it.
That's exactly right. It's one of those things where I'm out working all day.
And
I
you
think
think
about
about
this
it.
and I'm like, oh, that would be a great one.
Super Mario
Oh, that
Brothers.
would be a great one. Nice.
No, you know what? Actually, I've been watching at work, in the office on the weekends when I can watch stuff on my iPad. Oh, thanks for. I'm glad we talked about movies. I got to load some new movies on my iPad. Underworld.
Yeah, oh, nice.
Yeah.
You know what I think would be fitting for a first movie?
What's that?
Con Air, Face Off, The Rock.
Oh, Nicholas. Oh, The Rock.
Yeah.
No, The Rock is great because The Rock is never streaming, and I've been looking for an excuse to buy it.
Boom.
There we go.
I love that movie.
Episode 1 of Movie Busters will be coming at some point in time, where we will be watching The Rock. But yeah, and that'll be Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Indie Case Files, when that does debut, will be Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And again, this show and Mind of a Geek starts on Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us for episode 3 of All Geeked Up. You can join us in about 45 minutes if you are watching live, for Mind of a Geek Season 4, Episode 3, where we will be joined by Justin Zenger of Zeng This, which is another geeky Let's Talk About Shit podcast. So it should be a lot of fun, I would think. What do you think?
I'm in.
Cool.
I'm indifferent to everything, apparently.
Are you? You're just,
whatever,
whatever. I don't care. Cool. Yeah. So for Brandon, for myself, and for the rest of IG Studios, thank you all very much for hanging out with us, and we will talk to you guys next week. You've been listening to an Inked Geek Studios podcast. For this and other great shows, go to inkedgeekstudios.com.